I'm Joanne Jennings, editor of the Bixby Bulletin. Well, actually, I'm the Bixby editor of the South County Leader, but I'm here today with Connie Routsen, who recently spoke to one of the Bixby garden clubs, and she's going to tell us about arranging flowers, and I know you're going to love it. Well, Connie, I understand that you were a guest the other day at the garden club.
Oh, I was. I was just so honored that they asked me to do that.
One thing they mentioned is that you told them the history of flowers, or was it flower arranging? What was it you talked about?
I took them all the way back to the Roman Empire and started all the way up to where the flowers arranging really began in Japan, and they really found that quite interesting. We went through the Byzantine Empire and how the flowers arranged. Some of the people went back to the temples and copied the flower art that they had in the temples and did quilts.
Well, when did you first start flower arranging?
I've been doing it for 30 years, and I started back in the early 80s, but my mom took me from the time I was a little bitty girl until well, I followed her when I was just very tiny, and she did flower arranging, but she was not trained, but she really was very good, and she taught me a lot of what I know today. I didn't know I was being trained when I was little, but she was very, very talented, and that's where my talent, I think, begins, is from my mom.
What do you think your favorite part about this job is?
Making people happy. You can make people happy even in death. You can make them happy. So that's my favorite part, I think, of the whole thing, is making the people and serving people and doing the things that they want done. And so that's really my favorite.
Have you learned on the job?
I have, but I have also been trained. I've been to several different schools and several different trade schools in floral design.
Well, how do you handle the stress? I guess Valentine's Day and Easter, and when you get 3 or 4 funerals at once, must just be unbelievable.
Well, you really have to be prepared. You have to plan ahead and be organized. Organized is the most important thing. It is stressful, but if you plan ahead and have everything planned the way it's supposed to be, then everything will work out just fine. And the stress level goes down, but it's still there.
Connie, I had an aunt and uncle with a flower shop, and I tried to work for them a couple of times, and it scared me to death because they had me sticking wires in flowers, and I'd break them and I'd feel bad. So what advice do you have for people in flower arranging?
Actually, we don't wire the flowers anymore. We find that if you put a wire in a flower, it opens up a hole for bacteria, and also the flowers, their heads are so strong enough you don't need to put a wire in them anymore. And you would only put it in there if they were weak, but if they're weak, we won't use them anyway.
Well, I'm curious about something. Do you just arrange flowers, or do you like to grow them? Do you have a garden?
I do have a container garden at home. We have a lot of acreage, but we have a lot of moles, and they have eaten all my flowers, so I have to grow them in containers. But I do have a lot of containers. When I first moved into my house, I couldn't wait to plant flowers, and I went out and bought some really pretty dahlias and put them in my garden. And I was so excited. I watered them, got everything fixed, and went to bed that night, got up the next morning, went out to water my dahlias, and there wasn't one dahlia there. The moles had eaten every one of them, stem, leaves, and all. There wasn't even a sign of a dahlia. It was like somebody had pulled them up and filled the holes back in. And so from then on, I've had to container garden.